Before this product landed in my office, I hadn't heard of Conspit. It's a relatively new company from China and have released a few products into the sim racing market. In today's video, we'll be focusing on their hub and rims. Quick disclaimer, this product wasn't sent to me by Conspit. It was provided by Virtual Racing Hub, one of the leading resellers of sim racing gear in India. However, all of my thoughts and opinions are free from any influence. Starting with the price, which I had to search for a while, the hub is priced at 579 euros or 642 US dollars, excluding shipping, taxes and the rims. When bundled with a rim, the total cost increases to 649 euros or 722 US dollars. All of the rims are priced at 99 euros or 110 US dollars each. At first glance, I assumed the carbon fiber was injection molded, but Conspit stated that it is crafted using pre-preg molding, meaning it's not injected. From what I can gather, there could be two key reasons for this. First, without the carbon fiber, the weight would have likely pushed close to 3 kilograms when adding rim and quick release. And second, carbon fiber offers superior tensile strength compared to plastic, all while serving as a thirst trap. The hub weighs 896.5 grams. With circular rim, it goes up to 1.85 kilograms. With D-shaped rim, 1.82 kilograms, and with the GT style rim, 1.6 kilograms. With the quick release added, the overall weight could easily cross 2 kilograms. It has 10 push buttons, 4 thumb encoders, 2 7-way funky switches, 2 toggle switches, 2 rotary encoders, gear and clutch paddles, and 2 mini push-pull paddles, which Conspit refers to as swift triggers. I'm not exactly sure what purpose it serves, but can be assigned for any function. I use it for DRS and boost. Oh, and these funky switches are removable in case you want to attach a third-party rim. It uses BOGO pins to transmit the data and has a bit of a snug fit. The push buttons appear fairly large and will look better with stickers. Unfortunately, I cannot show that as I have to return this. The quality of buttons is good, except the 4 thumb encoders. These are plastic and the overall feel is quite mushy. The material on these encoders on the other hand feel like anodized aluminium and have very crisp, tactile and firm feel. All of the buttons feel really good and tactile. The paddle shifters are a bit on the vocal side, but nothing to complain about. They are magnetic, have good resistance, and if needed, can be dampened to suppress the sound. Clutch paddle has a good amount of travel, decent resistance, and are Hall sensor based. You can change the button colors to green, purple, white, pale yellow, or red by pulling and holding both swift triggers for a few seconds. This allows you to either set a uniform color across the buttons or create a colorful M&M-like appearance. Once you've chosen a desired look, you can save the configuration by pushing and holding both triggers again. However, there is a limitation in the software. It only lets you choose between purple and white, with no option to individually customize the button colors. While it is great that you can change colors directly without needing the software, this functionality should have been implemented in the software as well. Most wheel manufacturers offer this, and it's surprising to see it missing here. Still, since it's software-based, there's definitely room for future updates and improvements. It comes with a 70mm quick release adapter, and I have been using this with a SimMagic quick release. The 2.9-inch display is a bit of a mixed bag for me. Generally, I favor a muted and minimalistic design for my wheel. I'm okay with a small RPM light if it's present, but in all honesty, I would prefer it to be absent if possible. For example, when I had my Moza R9, I chose not to go with the FSR despite its appealing look. While a display on a wheel has its appeal and utility for many users, I am open to experimenting with different products. Objectively speaking, its presence seems a bit unnecessary. It either should have been slightly larger or completely omitted. But that's just how I feel. If you find it beneficial, that's perfectly fine. It does offer 3 different styles, which can be toggled by rotating the bottom right knob. It provides data for speed, gear, RPM, fuel, ABS, and more, but none of it is customizable. The display itself has a matte finish, is quite bright, and has good pixel density, though the refresh rate appears to be on the lower side. I'm guessing around 25 frames per second. There wasn't any noticeable backlight bleed, though bleeding can vary. I didn't use this display all that much as my focus was primarily on the road, and as mentioned, my preference leans towards minimalism. But the one thing which I believe could have been done better is the placement of this port. I remember checking up on the wire just after a few hours of playtime. The wire bends here in such a harsh manner that I was sure it was either putting some strain on the port or itself. I'm not sure why it was designed this way. It could very well have been placed in the bottom, away from the quick release. I find the sharp bending it causes after just a few hours of use to be concerning. It would be hard to say how it will perform in the long run. Moving on to the software, Conspit Link is functional but is a bit bare bones as the areas of adjustment for the wheel are quite limited. I'm using an older version as it's the only one currently working. The latest version, which seems to have addressed issues like additional display styles and adaptive shift lights, only works on their DD basis. Since the latest version does not work at this point of time, we'll stick to the one which is functional. In this version, weirdly, there's no way to control the brightness of display, buttons, or the RPM lights through the software. Instead, adjustments are made by pulling the swift triggers for a few seconds, then using the thumb encoders. The top left controls the brightness of the display and the top right controls the RPM lights. Pushing any button will change its color. However, if you prefer a more uniform color scheme, pulling the right swift trigger will make that adjustment. Pushing the left swift trigger allows for button brightness adjustment. While this is a thoughtful feature, the inability to make these changes within the software does not make sense at all. Rest, there isn't much to talk about. You have your basic stuff such as input registration, clutch calibration, launch control, and firmware update. With this out of the way, let's talk about the rims. The material quality of these rims is the softest I have encountered so far. It feels exceptionally good to hold on to. It does not have that slight rubbery feel, nor is it slippery. It's just right. All of the rims feature a perforated design on the grips, which may aid in airflow, particularly useful for those with sweaty palms. The circular and D-shaped rims are 320mm and the 3/4 rim is 290mm. I have always avoided the D-shaped rims as I was under the impression that they would be unwieldy or uncomfortable to play on. But it wasn't the case at all. It felt just like any other rim. Maybe because it was 320mm. My favorite, however, was the 3/4 rim for two reasons. First, out of the three, this offered exceptional comfort and felt great to hold on to. And second, the absence of a quarter of the rim significantly improved visibility, making it my go-to choice. I am not much of a rim swapper, but if you are, all of these rims look and feel really great for the price. Now with everything covered, let's talk about the verdict. Conspit has definitely put some thought into this product, especially with its carbon fiber hub, the swift triggers, removable funky switches, the amount of mappable inputs, material quality, and the variety of rims to choose from. However, despite these strengths, there are a few drawbacks. This is not SimHub compatible, the placement of connectivity port could have been better, the software feels too limited, and the adjustment of brightness and color customization through the software are absent. Additionally, the display and the tiny RPM strip, while functional for some, did not really add much to my experience and seemed rather unnecessary. Software related stuff can be fixed over time, but it feels like Conspit rushed this product. For roughly the same price, if you're not much of a rim swapper and want a bigger display, you can go for either Moza FSR or Leox's XGT Ultimate, which features a large display that has a refresh rate of 60 frames per second and has SimHub compatibility. Or the Cube Control's F-Core, if display isn't something you need. Perhaps Asetek Forte Hub and either one of their rims if you want to swap rims back and forth, or simply stick with an open wheel design such as Simagic GT Neo. Overall, the wheel has a lot of potential and Conspit got some of the ingredients right, just not in the correct amount. I can see it working well for others who prefer to swap rim or might find the display and its features appealing, but for me, given my preference, it's not the right fit. Let me know your thoughts. I've been Darth Snape and may the downforce be with you.